give them quotes.
May my horse have?
So it's a 17th century Indian copy of Nizami's Khamsa, which is Persian. It's a Persian poem, one of the most important Persian poems in the Persian literary tradition. And it is the part of his quintet, his book of sort of 5 different poems on different topics, that deals with Alexander. That's Alexander the Great. Even, and they told his story as a story of intellectual adventure, of enlightenment, even. So, miss it? Yeah, okay. Comforting the Persian king Darius, who was killed in the battle. So the scene, it's not just a battle scene, it's a scene of the transfer of kingship, and the transfer of authority, and the transfer of legitimacy also. From father to son, and from father to son, and also from king to king, from Persia to Greece. It's an image which is loaded with a lot of very potent symbolism.
It looks like palimpsests are big and
This is the earliest text in Persian written in the Arabic script in the world that we have. Yeah. It's a privilege to work with the collection. We have about 2,500 Islamic manuscripts here at the National Library of Israel from the 9th to the 19th century. So really spanning the gamut of Islamic culture and the history of the region. What we saw today are some of the items from our Yehuda collection, a diverse selection of what we have among the manuscripts donated by Avram Shalom Yehuda, who is a Jerusalem-born scholar and manuscript collector and dealer, one of the most important in the 20th century, actually. And at the end of his life, he donated his remaining collection of manuscripts here to us in Jerusalem. It's a prayer book. It's a Sufi prayer book, right? which we read in 1795. So it's the latest of the things that we're seeing today. All of them have an image, a painting of Mecca and Medina. Right, for inspiration, for the people, using this book in their devotion.
Sometimes more relaxed, otherwise I look a little stressed.
The National Library of Israel has been collecting material for about 130 years. What started as a public library dedicated to Jewish literature quickly became a much broader library. And the second area that the library expanded into was Arabic and Islam. The Arabic and Islam collection was founded in 1924 as part of the library's transition into becoming a university library. And over the course of its history, the library has invested in Arabic and Islamic material, also including Persian and Turkish materials, books and newspapers and journals, posters and music and manuscripts, and of course now digitally born material, in order to be the flagship research institution for Islamic studies and Middle Eastern studies here in Israel, and we are one of the largest research institutions in the region.
I like your shot with the rainbow.
So this is a diagram of the eye, right? Diagram of the eye, the parts of the eye through Egypt and across the Islamic world.
Impressive.
I hope so.
So libraries all over the world have been facing the same restrictions as other large institutions, where we can't allow the freedom of movements and the formal and informal conversations that often are the most important part of one's research or one's experience in a library. On the other hand, over the last decade, we have invested significant resources into digitizing our collections, and that allows you to access our treasures from home. So this year we've seen almost a doubling of the number of users from the Arab world who are entering and benefiting and using our digital materials across the different library digital resources. This year we see the fruits of our labor, not just related to the Abrahamic Concordance, but work that we have been putting in for many years. And that is both digitizing material that is important for scholars and students and those who love history and culture, and also by producing content that is interesting for people in the region.